Learning the note names on guitar can be a real drag, but it's very important if you're wanting to have that ultimate freedom of being able to play scales and chords wherever you want in any key. Because the nature of guitar is often you learn a shape for a scale or chord, and if you can line it up with the correct root note on the guitar, on whatever string the root note within the shape may be, then it puts you in the right place. And one of the most common places this is used is when you're learning the pentatonic scale. And if you are interested in having that fretboard freedom with the pentatonic scale, I did actually just release a course. It's called Pentatonic Zero to Hero because, as the name implies, you can start this course as a complete beginner knowing nothing of how to improvise, and by the end you'll have a really good idea of what you're doing and how to play everywhere on the fretboard in any key. And it'll also be very helpful if you've just started learning pentatonic scales and you want a structured approach to learning it so you don't have any gaps in your learning and hit roadblocks. So if you do want to check it out, the link's below in the description, and there's 30% off at the moment if you use the code HERO for the first week it's out, so make sure to check it out. Now, learning how to play octave intervals on guitar is such a good way to figure out where your notes are on every string, and as well as that, a couple of other extra tricks to figure out where your notes are. And if you do these things that I'm going to show you in the video, you should be able to figure out where every note is on every string just by knowing where the notes are on your low E string. So let's get into it. So the first octave trick we're going to look at is being able to find the same note in two different places on one string, so playing octaves on the same string. So a great place to start with this is looking at your double dot or your 12th fret on your guitar, because that is always going to be the same note as your open strings. Okay, so if this is an E note, this low E string, I play the 12th fret, and that is also an E note. If I played on the A string, A, then A would be the 12th fret again on that string. D string, 12th fret, D, G, G, B, B, E, E. Right, so the 12th fret is your octave of each guitar string. Now you might have already known that, but what a lot of people don't know is that these dots above the 12th fret, those are the same notes as your dots below the 12th fret. If we think of this 12th fret as our open string, or where our notes start again. So for example, this first dot is a G note, and if we go to the first dot past the 12th fret, so the 15th fret, that is also a G. So if I know a G is this first dot here, I look past my 12th fret and play the first dot, and that will also give me a G, right? And that works for all of these. If I know that this is an A note on the 5th fret here, I know I will also get an A note up here on the 15th fret. Or if I play this B note here on the 3rd dot, and then I go to 3rd dot past the 12th fret, that will also give me a B. And this works the same for every single string. So just remember, your dots down here, so your first dot, second, third, fourth, are the exact same notes as your first, second, third, and fourth dot past the 12th fret. And this is going to be really useful for when you're wanting to play solos up on the higher parts of the fretboard. So that's the first trick. Now the next trick is really simple. It's just recognizing that your low E string and your high E string are the exact same notes. So if I were to play the 3rd fret on the low E, that would be the same as the 3rd fret on the high E. These are octaves. Or the 7th fret, which is a B note, would be the same as the 7th fret on the high E. So pretty simple, but a lot of people actually don't recognize that. Now the next trick is being able to find the same note but on the next string. So the trick with this is -5. So let's say I was playing this 10th fret on the low E, which is a D note. If I wanted to find that same note on the A string, I -5. So if this is 10, -5 is 5, and that will give me the same note. Okay, these are both D notes. If I was playing the 7th fret on my low E, and I wanted that note on the A string, 7 -5 is 2, so I play the 2 on the A string, and it will give me the same note. And this is why when you see people tune sometimes, they'll play the 5th fret on the low E, and then the open A string, because 5 -5 is 0, right? So they should be the same note if you're in tune. And this works for all your strings. So say I was playing the 10th fret on the A string, which is a G note, I would -5, and on the D string, that would give me the same G note. 10, 10. Then if I wanted to find this note on the next string on the G, I would actually play a 0. Okay, because 5 -5 is 0. Now it gets a bit different when we go from the G to the B, which is a common theme you'll see throughout this. So the difference between going from the G to the B is only 4 frets, as opposed to 5. So if I played the 9th fret on the G, which is an E note, 9 -4 is 5. So they will give me the same note. Right? If I played the 5th fret on the G, would actually need to play the first fret on the B to get that same note, that same C note. So it's 5 difference between the strings except for the G to the B, which is 4. Now the B to the high E again goes back to 5. So if I played the 10 on the B string and I wanted that same note on the high E, I would just play the 5th fret and I would get the same note. Now you can obviously flip this around too. So if you want to find the same note on the string above, you just add 5 or you add 4 if it's from the B to the G. So if I was playing the 7th fret on the G and I wanted to play that same note on the D, I would just add 5. Okay, so 7 plus 5 is 12. And then that will give me the same note, right? Or if I wanted this same note here, this A note here on the high E string, I would plus 5 and play the 10 on the B. But if I wanted to play this 10 on the G, I would actually only plus 4. Okay, so I'd go to 14 and it will give me the same note. So just by that trick alone, and if you know your E strings, you should be able to find any note. So if I wanted to find a D note on every string, first I know a D note is the 10th fret on the low E, then I minus 5, right? Then that will give me the 5th fret on the A, and then if I minus 5, that will give me 0. And then I can use my octave as well to get another D note on that D string. Then I can minus 5 from here, right? And that will give me 7, which would be a D note. Then I minus 4 from G to B. So 7 minus 4 is 3. Then from here, I know my E strings are the same, so I can go to this 10th fret that I started with on that E string. Then if you're feeling comfortable with that, have a go at playing the same note 2 times on each string. So say we were doing this with a B note. So I play a B note on the 7th fret of the low E, and then I try to find the octave on that same string. So I know it's a 3rd dot, going back to our first rule. So I'm on the 3rd dot past the open string. So I look at my 12th fret and I go to the 3rd dot up there. And this will also be my B note. So B, B. Then for the next string, I minus 5. So I minus 5, and that will give me my B note on the A string. Now I can see I'm 2 past the open string, so I go 2 past my 12th fret, and that will give me that B note also up the octave. Now for the next string, I minus 5. Now I'm on the 14th fret, so I would minus 5 and go to the 9th fret on the D, which is the 4th dot past the open string, so then I can go all the way up here if I wanted, right? And that would give me the same note. Now from here, I can minus 5 to find the same note on the G. So 9 minus 5 is 4. This gives me a B note also. Now here I can see I'm 1 fret past the 1st dot on the string. So if I go to the 1st dot past the 12th fret and then go up 1, that will give me the same note. Right, so there's my 2 notes, my 2 B notes on the G. Now from here, I can minus 4 to get a B note. So I'm on the 14th fret. And then I minus 4 because it's the G to the B, which will give me 12. And then this is my octave because I'm on the B string, right? So open B and then this 12th fret here. And then my high E string, I can either minus 5 again, so 12 minus 5 is 7, or I can just think of it as being the same as that low E string. And then if I wanted, I could go, okay, 3 dots past the open string, 3 dots past the 12th fret, will give me the octave. So have a go at following that process, do it with your own note. Now the next trick is finding an octave interval by hopping over a string. So let's say we're playing this G note here, or this 3rd fret on the low E. To find that same note, but on the D string, so 2 strings up, I go 2 frets across, 1, 2, and 2 strings up, 1, 2. Right, so this here is an octave interval. So it's 2 frets across. So if I'm on the 3rd fret, I go to the 5th fret and 2 strings up. And that will give me an octave. So G, G. Okay, that's a really easy way to find notes on the A string if you reference the low E. If I wanted, here's a B note, then I could quickly do 2 frets across. So I'm on the 7 here. So I go to the 9 and 2 strings up. And that will be an octave as well. Cool, and that works for anywhere on the low E string, right? F, G, A, right? All octaves. And the same idea works with the A and the G. So if I know this is an E note on the A, I go 2 frets across, and 2 strings up. And then this would be the same note on the G, right? I know this is a D note on the A string, so I go 2 frets across, 2 strings up. And this is an octave. Right, C, C, F, F, right? So 2 strings up and 2 frets across. Now, just like the other rule, the D and the B is a little bit different. So I know this is a G note on the D string because I've done this octave from this G here on the low E. If I want to find that note on the B string, I actually have to go 3 frets across, okay? Still 2 strings up, but 3 frets across. So 5, 1, 2, 3 to 8, 2 strings up. This would be my octave. Okay, so this is G, this is G. This is A on the 7th fret, so I go to the 10th fret, 2 strings up, this would be an octave. If I wanted this C note here, on the B string, 3 frets across, because I'm on the 10th fret, I go to the 13, and 2 strings up. That will be my octave. So that's another great way to do it. So I can find a G note really easily on the D and the B by referencing the low E, because I can go G, then 2 up, 2 across, and then put my first finger on that G on the D string, and then go 3 frets up and 2 strings up. And that will give me that same G note on the B string. Now I can do the same with my A and G. If I need this note but on the G, I can do that same 2 frets across, 2 strings up shape. And if you do want to do the octave shape going from the G to the high E, it's the same as the D to the B. You got to go 3 frets across and 2 strings up. So octave, octave. So just to go through that again from an A note, so A, then 2 frets up, 2 across, then 3 frets up, 2 across to get that same note on the B. If I go on the A string, 2 frets up, 2 across, then 3 frets across and 2 strings up to get that on the high E. So now you've got a lot to work with, but I have one last trick, and that is the 7th fret rule. So in the same way that we can quickly know our 12th fret is the same as the open string, here's another one that people don't often bring up. It's that your 7th fret on the string, so for example the 7 on the A, is the octave of the previous open string. Okay, so if I play the 7th on the A, and I think of the string before, which is E, these are both E notes. If I played the 7th fret on the D string, okay, the string above the D is A, so this would be an A note, the 7th fret. Now 7th fret of the G, that is going to be the same as the string above, which is a D note. Now here, again, it gets weird with the G and the B. It's actually the 8th fret. 8th fret of the B will give me the G note. And the 7th fret, back to normal, of the high E is going to give me a B note. Okay, so your 7th fret is the same as the open string above it. And you'll see it all just works out the same, you know, if the 7th fret is an E on the A string, if you plus 5 to it, it gives you 12, right? 7 plus 5, 12, which is your octave again. All these things are just different ways of thinking and navigating the fretboard, but they all put you in the same spot and give you the same note. So try out some of these methods. Practice just choosing a note, whether it's B, A, G, C. Choose some nice notes to begin with. Don't worry about sharps too much. And just try find that one note on every string using these different methods. And try find 2 of each note on every string. That way you won't be limited to just the first part of the fretboard. You'll be able to navigate high up as well. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.